Hey y'all, what's happening? Robert Kennedy III here, RK3. That's me in the house with another session here. I've been doing these pop-up sessions for the last few weeks, and we've been just really sharing some great things with people. We've been sharing with people how to pivot or how to survive some of the what's going on right now with coronavirus. We've been talking to speakers. We've been talking to storytellers. We actually had a mental health professional on sharing about how to look for or care for yourself. Mental health. Oh my goodness, I'm mixing up my words. Self-care and wellness, how to deal with all of that. So I see some people coming in the room. As you're coming in the room right now, I'm gonna ask you to do a couple of things. Number one, I'm gonna ask you to share, just say hey in the comments. Number two, I'm gonna ask you to share this with your colleagues, your friends, your partners. Hey KCN, how you doing? Glad you are here hanging out with us. All right, cool. I'm going to bring Lola on in just a moment here, but I just want to make sure that you guys are sharing this, that you are commenting. We know who you are, where you are, and feel free to ask questions as we go through this. We're going to have a great conversation today about how Lola is taking her conference and making the pivot. She was planning on having this conference, y'all, and I'm not going to go into detail because I want to ask her about this stuff, but she was going to have this conference in May. My goodness, she had this rock star gospel superstar lined up, and it was going to be amazing. There were a lot of people that were going to be in the place, and now we've had to make a little bit of a shift. So we want to talk with her about how she's doing that and what that looks like for her. All right, I think, hold on one second, I got a lot of different things happening here. So let me bring her on anyway, so that we can get this conversation popping. All right. So let me bring her on here. Lola, what's going on? How you doing?
How are you?
Amazing. I cannot complain. Hold on one second. I'm going to switch my camera really quickly because I just want to get a little bit of change the RAM on my computer here. Hold on one second. Cool. All right. Can you see me still? All right.
I can.
Excellent. All right, cool. Let me turn my lighting on. Oops. All right. My face is really big on the camera right now. Anyway. All right. Hey, Jeffrey, what's going on? How you doing? Guys, as you come in, go ahead and share this with your friends. Share it with the world so that we can really make this conversation interactive and lovely. So Lola, why don't you introduce yourself to us for those that don't really know you? What is it that you're up to in the world? What do you spend your time doing these days?
Okay, well, I am Lola Moore Johnston, and I am a pastor, an author, and a conference convener. The last few weeks, I've been like everyone else, trying to find paper towel and toilet paper. But when I'm I love helping people to unearth buried potential, to identify their gifts and their sweet spots, and to find ways to help them to maximize those areas.
Yeah. So as a pastor, what are the things that you are finding coming up right now with your members, your parishioners? I'm gonna use the pastoral word, your people. What are the things that you're having to do more so than you did before?
Hello?
Yep, I hear you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
No problem.
Hello?
Yep, I hear you. We got you. Oops, she popped out. She's popping out. Okay, she'll be back in just a moment. We really want to continue the conversation with Lola, but as she's doing that, as she's coming back on, if you have any comments, any thoughts, anything that you want to ask her, we want to make sure that you're able to do that. So go ahead and pop those into the comments, and she'll be back on in just a moment here. Make sure that you put those in the comments. So let me ask you guys a question while you are watching this. what are you doing differently right now? What is it that you're having to do differently right now outside of, okay, wearing a mask and and being at home? What are some of the things that you're doing differently right now? Go ahead and share those in the comments, and we'll add you to the conversation. Hey Lola, welcome back.
Hi. So
Hey.
I'm learning some new things differently. First
Yeah.
off, when you broadcast, hit do not disturb.
Ah, yes. Yes.
For me, I realize that this is a time where I am being pushed to
Yeah.
do things that I was afraid to do before.
Mhm.
I was afraid to go live and do so normally and regularly. I was believing that I would be bothering people.
Right.
I was pushed to believe that what I offer is something that people want,
Right.
that people actually need. And so rather than assuming the position of um, bothering people, I realize that I'm providing a service that some people are wanting but may not know how to ask for.
Yeah.
So I've been in that space.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just posting some of these comments here. I was asking as you dropped off for a second there, what are some of the things that you're having to do differently now? KCN says she's having more Zoom FaceTime calls with clients and prospects. Colin says he's having to hide from his children in order to work. So that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So those are some of the things that you were doing as a pastor. So one of the reasons that I wanted to connect with you was we have had conversations over the last few months about a conference that you wanted to put on, and the thing that was hard for you was that this was your first conference, and you're like, oh my goodness, how do I do this? Number one, what are all the different pieces that I need to be aware of and put together, and then will people come and pay to be there? And why would they listen to me? So share with us some of the challenges. I probably just named a whole bunch of them. Share with us some of the challenges that you had to go through or navigate as you were figuring out this whole idea of a conference.
Understood. So I have put on conferences before, but as part of an organization.
Mm,
So I had a lot of support around me to find venues, to fund venues. It wasn't something that I was taking on personally from a financial perspective. I
right.
had an organization backing me. And so this is the first time that I stepped out to do an event on my
Mm,
own dime, where I am funding everything, where it's on me to find the venue, to ensure the venue, to ensure artists, to get people from one place to another. I was the primary person corresponding with people. And so a lot of my trepidation there was whether or not I could personally handle the risk involved in funding my own conference on that level.
yeah.
I've seen people do events that are small events that host, maybe 10 or 15 people. Those are same individuals who do things small to see if they'll work out and then do something large. But I just, I shot for the moon, and I said I wanted between 300 and 500 people to be at my
Wow.
first conference. Yeah, and so my previous conferences, because I was part of an organization, people who are already a part of that organization would naturally come because it was part of an entire a group of events and conferences that they
Right.
normally had. But for me, I would be introducing myself to these people in a new area of the country
Mhm.
and having to market myself and market the conference. So it was a large undertaking
Yeah.
that I just felt crazy enough to try out.
So what gave you the courage? I mean, there are a lot of people thinking about conferences and they're saying, hey, I'm hoping we can get 40 people in the room. I'm hoping we can get 50 people in the room. I've heard people, I'm hoping we can get 20 people in the room. You're like 500 people. What gives
Yes.
you that courage from the jump to say, this is what I want?
Well, and I hope this inspires someone else when I say this. I am a speaker who has been invited to speak internationally and across the United States. And people have events with my name on a poster that are drawing thousands of people.
Mhm.
And so I thought to myself, well, if someone could use my name and
Wow.
my image, my presence to fill a room, then why can't I use my own name and my
Wow.
presence to fill a room? I I have already done this. I just didn't have the risk involved in it either succeeding or failing. I don't know how much people made, but I saw the people in the room. I'm again a Christian pastor. I've seen people stand up. I've seen people wave their hands. I see people sing along. I've seen people come to a table or to
Mm.
a door and connect with me via social media because of something that I did in front of a room.
Right.
And so if that were the case for someone else, if they and the catchphrase that came into my mind was, if they felt comfortable betting on me, then isn't it time for me to feel comfortable betting on myself?
Wow, let's pause there just for a second because I know that was for somebody, and I want to have it sit on them for just a second. So we're talking about other people seeing something in us and us
Mm-hmm.
not believing in ourselves enough in order to take
Yeah.
some of those greater steps. Why is it that we don't
Yeah.
do that? What is it that causes us to really lack that total confidence and belief in ourselves in order to do amazing things? What are you finding?
You know, for me, I know that imposter syndrome was one thing.
Hmm.
I was believing that maybe it was a fluke,
Hmm.
that maybe people were just having mercy on me by having me at their event.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just trying to give me a chance. But then I had to go back through the timeline and said, well, people have been taking these kinds of chances on me for the last 18 years.
Wow.
People flying me across the country for 18 years
Mm.
for events. And so if they have been like, if I were a loser, if I were a person who did not succeed, then over years, someone would have, blown the whistle and said, this is a bad
Yeah.
investment. Don't bring her. She will bomb. But over
Wow.
18 years on different platforms, in different places, people have made that bet of thousands of dollars invested to
Yeah.
have me there. But now the opposite part of it is not whether or not we believe. The other part that we have to deal with is, are we willing to take the risk?
Hmm.
Are we willing to put ourselves out there and to experience potential rejection? So I think that's the other part of why people don't take that bet, is because they don't want to feel the rejection.
Yeah.
They don't want to they don't want to know that they said they're going to have 500 people in an event and only 100 people show up,
Wow.
or 50 people show up. They don't want to feel that rejection. And so a lot of us know that we have something good, but we are unwilling to feel the rejection, so we don't put ourselves out there.
Wow. I'm going to ask a question. It's a little bit of a tricky question here, right? So you're talking about going back 18 years, imposter syndrome, 18 years, self-worth questions, 18 years.
Mhm.
What is it that somebody can do? They're looking at you. How can they shortcut the process a little bit so they don't have to wait 18 years from today to kind of
Mhm.
step into greatness?
I think, and this is actually a good question that I'm having to think about.
Yeah.
I kind of wish. Okay, so here it is. My mother asked me to do something one day
Hmm.
that helped me tremendously. I was coming to the end of a year, and I
Yeah.
was down on myself because I wanted to accomplish more. And so she asked me to sit down and just write out all of the events that I had been part of for that year.
Right.
Start in January and just write down the things that I had succeeded in doing that year. And there were so many opportunities that I had over that year that I had forgotten about because I did not document them.
Wow.
I think documentation is critical for those who are attempting anything further. You have to remember where you have been.
Right.
You have to remember that there are individuals who have said, good job, or have asked you to do things. And so, what I have tried to incorporate in my life is documenting where it is that I have been and what it is that I have done.
Yeah.
If I had from the beginning and remembered that as a college student, people were flying me across the country
Whoa.
in a field that I had not even been certified in yet
Right.
to speak to their people, then it would not have taken me this long,
Wow.
to recognize it. But I was discounting so many things and allowing moments to pass by without documenting them that I elongated the process that way. So I want to say, document everything. Keep a
Yeah.
program, keep a bill, keep something that reminds you of where you have been or what you have done. Keep those things. They will help you to know that you are not lying to yourself when you say you are good at
Yeah.
this.
That was so good, right? If this is valuable, if this is gold for you, I want you to type in the comments, this is gold, or just write the word gold in the comments. Okay, do that for me. And I also want you, if this is valuable and you're finding that this is helpful to you, my goodness, for somebody who's been struggling with something, who's been going through the struggle of finding their place, their path, their purpose, or even the reason for them to move forward, right? What she just said is something that I know that is going to be a life changer for some people. So go ahead and make sure that you share it. Go ahead. All right. Yeah. Elaine says gold. Jeffrey's like cha-ching, baby. All right. Good. All right. All right. KCN says gold. Powerful. Yeah. Go ahead and share this broadcast for me so that other people can be impacted, blessed, influenced, inspired by all of the things that Lola Moore Johnston is sharing with us this morning. So let's talk about your conference for a moment here. So tell us the title of the conference and where you came up with that name.
My conference is called the Bloom Conference, BLOOM. I named it after my core value, which is transformation.
Wow.
I have been on my own personal journey of internal self-transformation.
Yeah.
And I found a golden thread through the messages that I have been blessed to share with other people of inviting them on a journey of transformation.
Yeah.
And so when I was looking for a term that could coin that entire process, I thought of Bloom. And so that's why we have the Bloom Conference.
All right. So let's talk a little bit. When you told us about, you were trying to get 500 people there. I was going to say 700. I was going to push you a little bit. You were talking about getting 500 people in the building. And this was going to be an in-person conference in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area. Now we've got Mr. COVID that is visiting us. And this is changing everything for everybody.
Yeah.
So now you've got a couple of options. You can say, you know what? I'm going to cancel this and wait till next year. Or you can decide, you know what? I'm going to do something. So tell us a little bit about your decisions and how you are pivoting or transferring or transforming or whatever it is that you're doing with the Bloom Conference.
So I want to first say that I have been in denial for a while.
Wow.
Was believing, some of the first projections were putting us right in the middle of May.
Mm.
And so I believed, okay, well, we're going to cut off right in front of Bloom. The Lord is not going to allow Bloom to go down. So I had been in denial for a while. And it was when the hotel called me to say, okay, what are your plans to transition, that I realized that I really needed to do this. So, and I'm going to give a lot of information now. So you let me know if I need to cut down anything.
Yeah.
The first thing that I realized was that the delay was a blessing, because it took a while during the timeline toward the conference for me to feel comfortable sharing with people that I was having a conference.
Yeah.
So I had not pushed it the way that it could have been pushed. And I realized that that was going to give me a longer window, or a larger, broader window, in order to share that we were going to have this conference. So the first thing that I determined to do was to push the conference, the in-person conference, for a year later. So for those who are watching, my Bloom conference will be Memorial Day weekend 2021 in the DMV. But what I also realized were there were going to be some critical moments, some opportunities for me to be able to still spread the message that I wanted to share to a broader audience via the internet. And so what I've determined to do was to hold a virtual conference on social media for those who may have been on the fence about Bloom, or those who still might have needed to be introduced. And so that also allowed me to be able to invite presenters who may not have been able to be there in person to still share with my audience via the internet. It dramatically cuts down on cost. I mean, dramatically. So there's that thing. And it also allows me to build my confidence on another level as I engage people online. And for those who may be struggling with the same thing, know that vendors are being tremendously helpful. The hotel that I've been using, that we have the conference scheduled for, lowered the fee for me to push it out here. So it's going to cost me less. My food and beverage minimum is down by like $4,000.
Wow.
The hotel cost for those who were going to be renting rooms are down like $40 a night. So it's going to be of a financial benefit to me. And because hotels are not wanting to give up their deposits, they are working with people. So know that those vendors who you're using are going to be very helpful to you during this time. There are two artists, two gospel music artists that we invited to be a part of our conference. And when I called them to ask them, about the timeline, both of them were available. So I was able to plug the same artists in for next year. I already have them locked down. And now my deposits are already paid. So these are things that I have a whole additional year now to recoup my interest on. So it turns out to be a really great problem to have.
Wow.
Because people know that it's not me, reneging on my intent to have a conference. It's not my fault. We're all in an issue. So the thing is, you can go virtual. You can still have a smaller conference that you can actually do, if you wanted to do, you could do for free. And use that, what I'm going to do, and I guess I'm giving away all my stuff, right? So I'm going to use it to build, my email list, so that now I can continue to be in contact and build community, so that when Bloom 2021 comes, then we have an even greater population of people to draw from for the event.
Awesome. So what does a virtual event look like for you? I mean, especially in this time right now, we've got everybody's going virtual. We've got churches Saturday, Sunday that are going virtual. We
Yeah.
got organizations that are going virtual with all of their meetings, et cetera, et cetera. And I was
Yeah.
on a conference yesterday, and there was a lady that said she has Zoomitis, right? Because of all of the different Zoom meetings that she's been in, churches going virtual. I mean, what do you want to share that virtually you can share that is not the same as what everybody else or what we're experiencing right now? What does that look like for you?
So, for me, I realized that I have a little Zoom-itis as well.
Yeah.
So, sitting in a virtual meeting, droning on about things that I could care less about.
Whoa.
People what it is that we're going to move forward with and what the new regulations are. I could care less about that. So I don't want to be on anybody's Zoom conference talking about those things. It's just, I just left the Zoom conference. Okay.
Right.
So we understand, but understand that your conference, and I'm speaking to the people who are listening, your conference is different than a mandatory Zoom meeting because you actually have information people want to hear.
Right.
They want to hear what it is that you have to say. They want to get that information. Yours is optional.
Right.
So, um, so that's the first element that is a blessing to me, is knowing that I have something that people want to hear. They have something that people are opting to be a part of. People in this time are looking for hope. They're looking for reasons to laugh.
Yeah.
They're looking for diversions. There are people who want to come out of this COVID-19 quarantine better than
Right.
they were before. And so if you are adding value, if I was going to quote anything, if you are actually adding value to people, they can sift through the foolishness and stay with you. But you have to ensure now more than ever that you are actually adding value. Cut the fluff. People don't need it. Okay? Cut the fluff. Value. I want to then dial into what the value is that my people are looking for. I know they're looking for hope. And so now I can dial down my presentation to 15 or 20 power packed minutes,
Yep.
adding hope.
Yeah.
Power packed minutes, adding some type of there are these little things that you can actually incorporate in your day to make you not what I mean, we all want to kind of like right now, but we also want to come out of it with something that we have gained, something that we have learned, some skill that we have learned. And so find ways to inject those while you're cutting fluff, like find ways to just cut straight to the chase with people with value. So for me, I'm kind of over the Zoom model.
Right.
And I think what I've seen in the past, I've seen some virtual conferences that were amazing, and they were presented just like a television show.
Right.
So what the people did was they actually pre-recorded the information. They cut it in with little, diversions, little commercials and things like that. And then the event, they presented it as though it were live.
Right.
But it was pre-recorded.
Right.
So that helped cut a lot of fluff out too, because any fluff was edited out.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that you watch a virtual conference. There are lots of them on the internet.
Yeah.
And because I've watched virtual conferences, then I kind of see how they transition. And I know that, again, doing it live is going to have a potential for some kinks and things like that pre-recording it would help with.
Right.
So for me, Um, the other thing is because people have virtual conference packed into one day or one experience, you may have that virtual conference spread over a couple of days. You
Right.
have a speaker who's going to speak for 20 minutes, then you make that presentation 30 minutes maybe. You might have 5 minutes in the beginning for information, 5 minutes at the end for question and answer, and then have a segment in there. But find ways to cut through the fluff. I think is something I would offer.
Yeah. So I mean, what you really just said for people is that people no longer want to just attend the meeting. They don't want to just attend a virtual session. They want to have an experience. They want to have an experience. So how do we
Yeah.
create that for them? And that's really important because now we're being forced to think that way. We're being forced to think that way. Oh, well, we're being forced to think virtually. Not everybody's thinking about the experience just yet, because
Yeah.
as is evidenced by the number of boring Zoom meetings and online things that we have. Anyway, so end with this for us. We definitely want people to be at Bloom Conference 2021, but you're also having your virtual experience coming up soon. Can you share with us more about that and
Yes.
where people can get registered and get info or be in the know about what's going on with
Yes.
Lola and the virtual Bloom sessions or experience?
Yes. So you can find me in two places online. You can
Mhm.
find me at lolajohnston.com. That's all things Lola Johnston, my books and my conferences where I will be virtually speaking for the next few months and all of those things. And then anything about the Bloom conference will be at bloomdmv.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Excellent. Well, listen, Lola, thanks for sharing your heart with us. Thank you for sharing what you're up to. Thank you for sharing even some of your vulnerability with us this morning, because I know that especially that piece was a blessing for people. That was a moment of inspiration for people. And if you have not watched this, here's what I want you to do. Actually, if you haven't watched it, you're not hearing what I'm saying. But for those of you that are watching it, here's what I want you to do. I want you to share this with your friends. I want you to go back and hit replay on this so that people can get that information and they can get that inspiration and they can be better people, that their stories can be on a stage and be an impact or an influence or inspiration for somebody else as well. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. Thanks for watching today. Share this again. We'll see y'all soon. Don't forget to register for the Bloom conference at bloomdmv.com. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. I want you to join me in the Storytellers Growth Lab on Facebook here. If you have not been to the Storytellers Growth Lab, our mission there is to equip 1 million storytellers to be able to tell their stories and deliver it with confidence. So go to storytellersgrowthlab.com or just search us on Facebook, Storytellers Growth Lab. Join us there. Get ready to be equipped. Your story deserves a stage. We'll see y'all again soon.